The Bold and the Beautiful, The Collapse of the Pact, Katie's Ultimatum, Hope's Protection, Poppy's Plea, and Luna's Public Fall. The aftermath of scandal in The Bold and the Beautiful is never clean. It spreads like wildfire, touching every corner of Los Angeles, especially when it involves names like Spencer, Logan, Forrester, and Nozawa. At the heart of this tangled mess stands Luna Nozawa, the young woman caught in a storm of judgment, betrayal, secrets, and legacy. But as whispers turned into threats, and threats turned into a tentative truce, the world held its breath only to watch it all collapse overnight when one leaked video ignited every buried tension in the city's most powerful families. Katie Logan, always the measured one in a storm, was the first to take action. As the scandal surrounding Luna and Will Spencer spiraled into headlines, trending hashtags, and boardroom backlash, Katie's instinct wasn't just to protect her son, it was to punish the woman she believed had manipulated him and humiliated their family. She didn't care about Luna's apologies or confusion. She saw only betrayal, and she wanted accountability. Katie didn't act alone. Poppy Nozawa, Luna's mother, desperate to shield her daughter from total destruction, stepped in. She wasn't defending Luna's choice, at least not all of them, but she was trying to stop the freefall. Every day Luna's name stayed in the headlines, the damage grew worse. And if Katie pushed for legal action or used her media ties to fan the flames, Luna would be ruined. So Poppy proposed a compromise. Surprisingly, Hope Logan took Luna's side. Hope, who had every reason to stay out of the chaos, stepped in with quiet conviction. She understood what Luna had done was wrong, but she also saw the bigger picture of the emotional fallout, the blurred intentions, the mistakes of youth tangled in the ruthless politics of billion-dollar families. Hope didn't want Luna destroyed. She wanted resolution, healing, something that resembled a future. Out of these three women, driven by a different force, justice, compassion, and survival, come a fragile pact. The terms were simple on paper, but layered with tension. Luna would deliver a public apology, clear and televised. No more excuses, no evasion, no spin. She would acknowledge her part in the Spencer scandal, take full responsibility, and end any attempt, real or rumored, at claiming ties to Spencer wealth, inheritance, or legitimacy. She would remove herself from any legal discourse regarding the baby's future until Will Spencer made his position clear. And in return, Katie would call off the media, silencing whispers with a single press release stating that the Spencer family was moving forward in peace and forgiveness. Poppy would go on record stating her daughter had no intention of pursuing Spencer rights. Hope would oversee the language, balancing dignity with damage control. For a moment, it seemed to work. Luna stood before a camera, makeup light, eyes filled with regret, voice trembling, but composed. She apologized to Will, to the Spencers, to Forrester Creations. She admitted to crossing boundaries and causing pain. She acknowledged that what happened in that hotel room, even if not fully understood at the time, had hurt someone she cared about deeply. She promised to step back, to let the truth breathe, and to give Will the space he deserved. The video was raw, calculated, and carefully timed. It hit the internet. Comments poured in. Sympathy trickled back. Katie released her statement. The temperature began to cool. Then it all imploded. Steffy Forrester, Lee Finnegan, and Sheila Cartera trio, never known for peace, were caught in a fiery confrontation inside the Forrester executive suite. No one knows who leaked the footage. Some say it was a hacked security feed. Others blame an anonymous employee. But what mattered was what the world saw. Steffy accusing Lee of weaponizing Luna's pregnancy for personal advancement. Lee calling Sheila a psychopath who should be locked up. Sheila spitting venom back about hypocrisy and loyalty. It was chaos. It was vicious. It was real. And in the background, Luna's name kept surfacing. Lee called Luna a pawn. Steffy warned that she'd never be accepted into Forrester, no matter how many apologies she made. Sheila suggested Luna had more in common with her than with anyone else, manipulative, opportunistic, dangerous. The clip went viral in under an hour. News outlets picked it up. Hashtags exploded again. Spencer scandal 2.0. Lund unforgiven. Forrester for a storm. The pact collapsed instantly. Katie retracted her statement, furious that her family had been made a fool of. She believed the apology was a stunt orchestrated to buy time until Luna's name could be rinsed clean. She pulled every string to stop damage control and pushed her media allies to go harder. Headlines turned brutal, Luna's lies exposed, apology or ambition. The Nozawa legacy of deceit. Katie gave exclusive interviews. She reasserted that Luna had no place near her son or the Spencer estate, and this time, there would be no deal. Hope begged her aunt to reconsider. Luna kept her word, she insisted, but Katie wouldn't hear it. She's a liar, she snapped. And that's all she ever be. Poppy tried to salvage the truth. She went to Katie's home, tried to plead one last time, to explain that Luna wasn't part of whatever Steffy and Lee were plotting. But Katie slammed the door shut. You should have taught her better, she said. Now she's paying for your mistakes, too. Luna, blindsided, spiraled again. She had done what was asked. She had humbled herself before the world. She had removed herself from Will's life, let the child's paternity be handled legally, and stayed away from Spencer property. But it didn't matter. The video turned her into a public enemy again. The backlash was worse the second time. Sponsors pulled deals. Forrester canceled her jewelry segment. Press parked outside her apartment. The one person who hadn't spoken. Will Spencer. He remained silent. No interviews. No public support. No condemnation. Just silence. That silence hurt more than the headlines. Because in Luna's heart, she had hoped the apology might give him space to forgive her. Not to love her again, but to see that she wasn't evil. That she had made a mistake, but she wasn't malicious. But his silence said everything. He wasn't coming to her rescue. Even Hope began to distance herself. She couldn't fight the tide alone. With her line on the verge of collapse, her mother's career in tatters, and Steffy gaining ground in the company, Hope had to protect her own name. Her support for Luna became quiet, private. A text, a brief check-in, but no more public defenses. Luna was alone. Even Poppy, protective as ever, began to break under the pressure. Old secrets hovered just beyond rich rumors of Luna's true parentage, questions about Poppy's past, whispers about who may have helped Luna get access to the hotel suite that night. Every old skeleton rattled its chains. And if one more leaked clip surfaced, the entire Nozawa name could burn. And still Sheila Carter watched, unbothered, unmoved, almost amused. She had said very little since the leak, but those close to her knew one thing. When Sheila was quiet, something worse was coming. As the dust settled, one thing was clear. The truce was over. The apology was forgotten. The media was hostile again. The Spencers wanted blood. The Forresters were divided. The Nozawas were cornered. And Luna, pregnant, isolated, hated, stood at the edge of the cliff, with no one left to catch her. And this is the bold and the beautiful. Where truces are temporary, forgiveness is political, and scandal is courtesy. And Luna's fall. It may only be beginning. The bold and the beautiful Luna disappears. Will breaks his silence, and a secret father rocks Los Angeles in the aftermath of the pact's collapse. Luna Nozawa disappeared. Not just from the media. Not just from Forrester Creations. She vanished completely. No security footage. No calls returned. No credit card activity. No sign of her in Los Angeles, Milan, or Tokyo. One day she was the center of a media firestorm, then gone, without a trace. At first, people assumed it was strategy. Maybe Poppy had sent her away to recover. Maybe Luna herself had fled to escape the noise. But as the days turned into weeks and the silence deepened, concern slowly replaced anger. Katie remained unmoved. She ran because she was guilty, she said, brushing off the growing unease. But Hope wasn't so sure. Meanwhile, inside the offices of Forrester Creations, tensions reached a boiling point. Steffy Forrester, emboldened by the media's renewed support, tightened her control over the company. She sidelined Hope's line. She rewrote marketing strategy. She began conversations about restructuring Burnley. "We've cleaned house before," she told Thomas. "We'll do it again." Behind closed doors, she and Lee Finnegan continued whispering. The full extent of their involvement in the leaked clip and possibly the manipulation of events leading up to Luna's public fall remained unclear. But their bond had solidified into something dangerous, shared secrets. Then, Will Spencer broke his silence. In a live, unannounced appearance on Spencer Media's flagship news program, Will walked into the studio and gave a raw, unfiltered, 6-minute monologue. His voice trembled, but his words were resolute. "What happened that night changed my life," he began. "But what's happened since then has changed me even more. I've watched people I love turn pain into power plays. I've watched a girl be destroyed in the press because it was easier than asking hard questions." He didn't defend Luna, but he didn't condemn her either. What happened was real. It was complicated, and I wasn't okay. "But she's not a monster." The studio went silent, and the next sentence detonated every newsroom in the country. "I want to know where she is, and I want to know who made her disappear." Within hours, the narrative shifted. Again, suddenly Luna was no longer the villain. She was a missing person, and Will's message turned public sentiment toward concern. A trending hashtag worries land press like wildfire. Katie was blindsided. "He was supposed to stay out of this," she hissed, storming into Bill's office. But even Bill, the eternal protector, was shaken. "Maybe he needs closure," he said. "Or maybe he's starting to see things we didn't want to see." Then came the anonymous envelope, delivered to Spencer Publications. No return address. Inside, a single flash drive. On it, an audio recording, but audible. Luna crying. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I never wanted Will to suffer. I didn't know who would be there that night. I didn't know about the camera. I didn't even know the recording cut off." What followed was silence. Then another voice. Male. Older. Calm. Calculated. "If you want to protect yourself, you'll leave. You'll go now. And you won't come back until I say so." The audio timestamped. One day after her apology video, forensic techs at Spencer authenticated it. The voice was partially masked, distorted, but what they could confirm was the GPS metadata. It was recorded in Big Bear, California. Within hours, Hope, Will, and Poppy were in a car headed to the mountains. They arrived at a quiet cabin, seemingly abandoned. But inside, tucked in a back room, they found her. Luna. Disoriented, underweight, terrified but alive. She had been hiding, yes, but not alone. She revealed that someone had warned her. If she stayed in LA, more would come out. That the truth about the night with Will was only part of the puzzle. That she wasn't the only one being protected or controlled. Hope held her. Poppy wept. Will stood frozen. Then Luna said the one thing no one expected. "I know who my father is now." The words sent chills. For years, Luna had lived without knowing her father's identity. Poppy had refused to name him. But now, during her exile, Luna had put the pieces together. She'd confronted Poppy. She'd found a letter. And the man in question, Jack Finnegan, Lee's husband, Finn's father, the very man who had supported the attacks on her from the sidelines. The truth made everything clear. Why Lee had fought so hard to discredit her. Why the Forrester-Finnegan alliance had sharpened their knives. Why Steffy had gone cold. The scandal wasn't just about the Spencers. It was about hiding a second, far more dangerous secret. That Luna, the girl at the center of the media storm, was Finn's half-sister. And it wasn't just a matter of biology. If the truth went public, Forrester Creations, Finn, Steffy, and Lee would all be pulled into a firestorm of scandal, lies, and cover-ups. Not to mention the legal implications of Jack's secret paternity and the financial entitlements Luna might suddenly have claims to, especially now that she was carrying Will Spencer's child. The stakes had just tripled. Hope pushed for Luna to come forward. Will offered to speak with the Spencer legal team. But Luna, freshly shaken, wasn't ready. "I just got out," she whispered. "I can't go back into the fire." Not yet, but secrets don't stay buried long in this town. Within days, someone else found out Shyla Carter, and she didn't want to expose the truth. She wanted to use it. Because if Luna was Finn's sister, and Sheila was Finn's biological mother, then Sheila had one more blood tie to manipulate, protect, or destroy. And she would stop at nothing to get control of it.